10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Stadium Connect North. Correct me if I'm wrong, John, but I think we're at the 50th episode
Yeah.
of the show, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
awesome. And what a wonderful way to celebrate it than with our guest that we are having on here today and the awesome news that he brings and the positivity. So this is so awesome. It worked out. Things work out for a reason. And you know what? I don't question things anymore. All the magic that happens in the background, just it's truly amazing. And I'm really feel fortunate and blessed to be able to be a part of all of this and the Stadia community.
Exactly. It's gonna be a really good one. And today we have a special guest here with us, MM2K. How are you doing, MM2K?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, look, I'm so ecstatic too. If I could get on camera, you could see my tears of joy. This is fantastic, guys. I can't wait till we get started.
Nice. Yeah, me and John, we were like, oh, we got to get MM2K there because during the last interview, you were so passionate, about the interview and everything. So we had to get you back in here and ask all of these awesome questions. So happy to see you.
Thank you so much.
So in the chat, we got a few people here. We've got Zarina, Gamer Mink, Granite T-Rock, Nix. We've got Miss T22. Welcome, everyone. And just to let you know, guys, we have a poll and we're asking you, have you followed and hit the notify me button on the Kickstarter? And you can answer yes, or you can answer no, you naughty naughty. You better do that right now. But yeah, go ahead and have a look at the Kickstarter if you can, because that would really help the developer. And before we get started, we would just want to give a quick summary of what's been happening. We've got Evan there here waiting in the back. But before we ask some questions, we just want to let you know that before, what happened is that one of our Stadia member, Cody Maloney, went ahead and asked the Dead Drop Studio developer if they could bring their game to Stadia. And since then, it's been a super cool roller coaster. The dev has asked people, to purchase the game on the side, see if they were interested in for it to come on in Stadia, and that was pretty successful. He's put a poll to see the interest again, and that was also successful. So it turned a lot of eyes. It turns his eyes towards Stadia, and he started working in the back to get us these games. And 4 months later, just 4 months later, here we are. The games are announced. We got Stadia, Outbreak, Contagious Memories coming soon, and we have oh man, I'm having a blank. Something of horror.
Shades of Horror.
Shades of Horror. Yes.
Yes.
Demo right now, which is currently playable on Stadia. So we have a lot of questions for Evans. We have him here for a little bit, and we build up some stuff. We know it's going to be very organic, because we even have some questions on the side that we want to ask for him. So yes, go ahead and follow that Kickstarter. And without further ado, let us bring in Evan, the developer of Outbreak. How are you doing, Evan?
Up,
Awesome.
you're muted.
We're not hearing
Oh.
you, Evan. Yeah,
I think you're muted.
yeah, or something is wrong.
Maybe you might have to hit the little gear there that's the settings and change your go to the audio and then change your audio input.
Meanwhile, we also have the chatbot who will automatically put messages for this Kickstarter link. Oh, yeah, we can hear you, Evan.
Yeah.
There he goes.
I did it.
Oh.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, we're
Good.
doing
How are
great.
you?
Pretty good. I have not slept in months, and I clearly don't know how to use a computer or anything. I'm still amazed we got through the stream last night in one piece. But yeah, doing all things considered, doing pretty good.
That's awesome. So we are talking to Evan right before he dies. So
Yeah,
thank you very much, Evan, to make it
That's it.
right beforehand. That's super appreciated.
absolutely.
So, man, so you've been very busy, in the 4 months. How do you feel, about all of this, all of what have happened since then?
I mean, this is incredible. We've never really had anything like this in the series history up to this point. To be honest with you, it was pretty organic how we spread out to all the different platforms in the past. I mean, the game started on Steam. Our first console platform was Xbox, and was Xbox for quite a few years. And in 2020, we moved off to PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and then we did the next gen console ports. And we support all those platforms for a while, but this one really came out of nowhere because as I said in the stream last night, I've said to a lot of folks on Twitter, Stadia was not a part of the original plan here for Shades of Horror. We've been working on this for close to well over 6 months to just get to this reveal date, and the Stadia stuff only really came into play in April when you guys started making a lot of noise. So it's pretty incredible that we're here with a demo that's out. So I'm thrilled.
Yeah, very incredible. So we got, geez, I'm always having that blank. Shades of Horror, that's coming out. But let's go back a little. We also have the seventh game, the game beforehand that is coming to Stadia soon, which is Contagious Memories. Can you tell us a little bit about the game?
Sure. I mean, Outbreak Contagious Memories. It was our most recent title up until yesterday that we were working on. And that title, in a nutshell, is a spiritual successor to Resident Evil 2 and 3 on the PlayStation 1. It is a game that is designed to look and play like a 90s survival horror game if you dragged it right into 2022. And obviously the graphics are a bit better, the resolution's a bit better on it, but it controls and it plays very similarly to a title that you'd play in 98 or 99. With just a lot of little neat features like being able to choose to play it with fixed camera angles, play it as a first-person shooter, or play it as an over-the-shoulder third-person game, similarly to like Resident Evil 4 or 5. And it's really quite an amazing title in a lot of ways. It was our first title with full voice acting. It's got the most content out of anything we've ever shipped in the past. It's got the highest quality, the best graphics until Shades of Horror. And it's really an amazing package, and I think it is the right way to enter Stadia for the series. I spent a lot of time speaking to the folks at Google about kind of like what would be the right title to first come over with. And Contagious Memories is the best because it's kind of got everything that we've built into and learned over the last 7-8 years. And it's just a very complete, very exciting, fun adventure that also did very well commercially, fortunately, and has reviewed pretty well overall. So it just seems like a really great entry point for the series. And bringing that announcement with Shades of Horror, I think, was a really great 1-2 punch there.
Definitely, I'm so happy that it made it for Stadia because that it's my favorite title of the whole franchise at the moment, and you can see the jump difference between the previous game, Endless Nightmare, to Contagious Memory. It's such a big jump, and now when you see Contagious Memory to let me check out the title, Shades of Horror. It's so big. It's not about improvement, but it's about the budget. Like, it's incredible how much budget you were able to put in the latest game.
Yeah.
Are you able Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, and I mean that actually really is one of the experience. Like we have certainly learned a lot over making games over the last 8 years, but one of the biggest differences that allowed us to go to such new heights with Contagious Memories was to be able to use a bigger budget to have the support of our series selling better than ever. Being able to be a full-time indie dev, so I could work on this, every day, all week. And being, coming off great partnerships with like limited run games for our PlayStation 4 physical release of the first 5 games in the series, and just everything else that's been happening over the last couple of years. And that's why Contagious Memories looks and plays as well as it does. And that's why Shades of Horror is also just a gigantic jump in quality and gameplay and everything over even Contagious Memories.
So the more money we give Evan, the better quality we'll get out of this game, which is perfect.
For every dollar you give him, you get 9 back. So,
and honestly, I'd like to think so. And honestly, when we were going around pitching Shades of Horror to folks quite a few months ago, that was kind of the response that we got. Is people were very, the folks that we had worked with and our partners and stuff, they were very happy with what we were producing on such a shoestring budget. And I was in one meeting where somebody actually said to me, they're like, we really want to see what you can do if you get a couple $1 million and go to make a video game, and actually have 3 years to build it instead of doing an annual release, which is what we do right now to survive under extreme amounts of crunch. Getting everything out for that release yesterday, or for that reveal yesterday, was only due to a huge amount of crunch on my side and on the sides of the platform holders and partners that we're working with, and a lot of crunch on the Google Stadia side too, I'll tell you.
Nice.
Awesome.
For Contagious Memories, can you give us an estimate of when it's coming? Because we only know that if it's coming soon right now. But do you have more information on that? But if you can't talk about it, that's also fine.
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is I know the answer to that question, and the only other thing I can tell is I can't tell anybody. So, the official messaging is that it's coming soon. And the way that I would classify this is that it is probably coming sooner than you think, but a little later than you'd hope. Is really what I've been saying to people.
Because we all want it today. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
absolutely.
And look, I mean, the bottom line is there would have been no way to ship Contagious Memories on Stadia with the time that we had since April and all this and everything else going on. I mean, I talked about this last time I was on the show, but prior to any of the Stadia stuff coming up from fans, we had a very full dev pipeline for the next 12 to 18 months from started back when we were talking about this back in April. The Stadia stuff was added on top of that, and we really moved heaven and earth, and a lot of and Google did, and the fans did. But Shades of Horror only has a demo on Stadia yesterday due to an insane amount of crunch. And I got to tell you guys, it's taken years off my life, and I'm not eager to build games this way for a long period of time if we can avoid it. And that is part of the reason why we're going the Kickstarter route with this next title. Is because I'm going to die in the process if we don't figure out a way to pre-fund these games properly with good development pipelines. You laugh. I haven't slept in weeks. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
I worked 20 hours yesterday, and after we got off the stream last night, I worked another 6 hours. So,
oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, it's
my dear
you got to do what you got to do. But that's what I'm saying. This is not sustainable, and this is why we're doing the Kickstarter. And why we feel that we're finally in a position where the series is noteworthy enough. We have the sales data to back up that the series is selling better than ever. Contagious Memories was our best launch ever financially in terms of units sold. By every metric, review scores, every single metric, it obliterated everything else in the series. And we're ready to really go to prime time, and we feel like we've got this great community. And I'm really happy the Stadia community is with us now on this one, because we're definitely going to need your help with what's coming over the next couple of months. And this is the right time to be making the push for this to really set a high aspiration to build a next-gen exclusive online co-op survival horror game that's going to be everywhere, and it's going to be a great experience. So this is the right time for this, and I'm feeling very good about things.
So, Evan, could I maybe ask, and again, you don't have to, if you don't want to answer it, would it be safe to say that we could expect Contagious Memories by the end of the year? Would that be?
No, I'm not giving you any indication. And this is one of those things where me omitting information is not a hint to date or anything. I have given no one an indication of when this is coming out, and the messaging from me and from Google Stadia is coming soon. So if I actually did see some folks on Twitter yesterday who were saying they were told it was a certain date it was coming out, and I tried to jump on that stuff right away because if anybody's saying that, it's BS. They don't know anything. So don't listen to people. The thing that I will say to you is when Contagious Memories launches on Stadia, it's going to get launched properly. It's going to be sold in a way that's going to make Stadia folks excited. It's going to have the features and the quality that you would expect from a very solid release. It's not something that I'm eager to rush out for the sake of ticking a box.
Right.
And look, I mean, getting the Shades of Horror demo onto Stadia, at the end of the day, that was in many ways, it's a more complex game than Contagious Memories, but it is also a more limited and constrained game in some ways. And even that, getting that out in the time period that we had, we both I and Google Stadia, we learned a lot about shipping a product that fast on the platform. And you can even see an example of that in the fact that we made Shades of Horror's demo the first Stadia demo that was click to play. As far as I know, there's never been another one ever in the platform. And as part of that, you can play it for 60 minutes right now, then it locks you out, even if you have a Stadia account. And they've been hard at work at fixing that for the last day. And I know a fix is coming soon, but it does show you what can happen when you try to rush out a groundbreaking feature very quick. So that's going to get fixed very soon. They are actively working on it. I just don't have an ETA. I even did ping them right before this podcast to see if they had an update that they wanted me to share. But I nothing so far.
It's nice, that you got access to these new features for Stadia because I guess you were very lucky to be able to be the first to give these a try because they're really useful. Now I'm going to try to dig some more information out of you. But
I'm going to say one thing. I actually just checked my email. I did get an email back from Stadia on the click to play thing. I do not have a firm ETA, but it is. I think we're in the hopefully very soon category. So I don't know if that means today, but I think it means that it's coming pretty quickly, and they're actively working on it. And I just want folks to be clear with folks. They understand that was not a great experience to have this demo come out, play it for 60 minutes, and then see everybody saying that they want to keep playing the demo, which is kind of odd for a demo in some ways, and then not being able to let folks play an unlimited amount because that was the plan. So I just want to say they are aware of that. They are thrilled that folks want to keep playing this demo. I'm thrilled too. I put a lot of work into it. And honestly, if you really sit down with that demo when you can on Stadia, there really is like 3 to 4 hours of content in that demo if you really try to do everything. So it is kind of a mini game in of itself. It saves your progress. There's 8 different endings. There's a lot of lore and secrets to find. It's loaded with stuff.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you can see. It's very cool to see people who just want more, right? Like they want way more, which is what you want. So this is perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so let me try to dig some more information. But, so Contagious Memory again. So I'm the Contagious Memory guy, so this is why I asked this question. But is there a possibility maybe that we could see it on Pro?
I am not confirming or denying any launch plans for Contagious Memories. And this is look. All I'm going to say to you guys is that, and this is something I said in the stream last night, is that over the last couple of months, I was obviously limited in what I could talk about and what I couldn't talk about that was happening behind the scenes. But there's a consistent theme that I heard that I've seen on Twitter from the Stadia crowd is that they sometimes feel that they're not being listened to and that their feedback is falling on deaf ears or that Google just doesn't care or something like that. I can tell you as somebody who's new to this platform, who really did not have a dog in this race I didn't even know what Stadia was before April. For the most part, I'd never used it. I didn't know anything about it except it was on the cloud. What I can say to you is that they are paying very close attention to what everybody's saying on Twitter, on Reddit, on Discord, everywhere. They are deeply passionate about the platform. When I see tweets, unsighted tweets about Stadia's closing down this summer, to somebody like me who's now deep in the trenches on this stuff, that is like the most ridiculous statement I could have seen. And when that thing actually started getting traction, I was just sitting here just like, that is ridiculous. I think I even did a post on Twitter about it because it's like, what people I don't think understand is that to expand to new regions costs a lot of money. You don't do that if you're shutting down your platform in a month.
Right.
I mean, it's if you think about it for 5 seconds, it doesn't make sense. When you look at the Stadia Pro catalog for the last year, it's a very diverse set of titles coming out, and they're all really good titles, and it's a really great catalog they're building up with that. You don't spend money on that if you're going to just shut down in 20 days or something. Like, it would be absolutely ridiculous. So to get back to your core question there, I'm not going to answer your question, but what I am going to say is that they are very aware of what fans want. They are very aware of how fans want to consume Stadia content and how they want to pay for it. And what I will also follow that up as saying is that I am very aware of how you guys want to consume and pay for content. And, a lot of the feedback early on is folks did go out and buy Outbreak products on other platforms. And some Stadia folks got kind of angry. They're like, I don't want to buy it on PlayStation to try and get it on Stadia. That's ridiculous. And that's why with our Kickstarter, we're not going to be asking folks to double buy a copy of the game. We're going to have Stadia-specific tier, or a Stadia-specific tier, if not more than that, with content. And no one's asking you to double buy the game to get the next generation title over to Stadia. So that's your long answer that says almost nothing, but I'm not going to answer your question.
I'd like to know that you guys are aware, that we like these kinds of business plans. So I'm happy to hear that.
Let me just float this back to Evan, because he's been so transparent, and just conversing with him is always, it's like you're in the wealth of knowledge pool just constantly being sprayed upon you. Evan, that's the exact same thing you said in the last interview that was so profound, and I'm confused. I don't know if you're confused too. I'm confused on why the message being the same from then and now, why it still can't resonate with people that Stadia is not looking to pack up and go on kayak.com and go on vacation somewhere forever. Like, they're here to stay for a while with this. I don't know what's behind it, but when we hear devs like yourself that are very transparent, you don't beat around the bush, say it, I think it's solid.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it's just I don't understand it either. I mean, one of the overall, I do want to be clear. Overall, since the day that this whole thing started with getting my attention for Stadia, the Stadia community at large, 99.99% of the community has been, nice, supportive, polite, interested. There is that very small population. It looks like they just want to watch the world burn for some reason, and you're never going to make them happy. And honestly, the best thing folks can do is just, let those people be. I mean, engage them. You're never going to change their minds. Look, I mean, bottom line is we had some folks who sent some really nasty stuff to us in April. And I really try not to block people on social media or ban people from where they talk about our games and stuff. If folks want to send criticism and yell at me about something legitimate, I'm happy to hear it. But, it was disappointing to see that there were some cases where we did have to block or ban people. And, they came back months later and said, we're really sorry about that. And honestly, my viewpoint is, look, the bottom line is I needed your help back in April. You weren't supportive. I don't care if you're sorry now. We're trying to actually do something. And we're not looking for fair weather friends here. We're looking for people who are actually engaged in this. And I'm not going to waste my time on you.
Exactly.
So it's not time to jump on the bandwagon now. You need it, like you said, you needed that help throughout these last 4 to 5 months to get to where we are now. Because, I mean, Evan, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, if the Stadia community didn't help or intervene, we'll say, in this whole process, I really don't think we'd be sitting here today talking about how, Contagious Memories is coming to Stadia, how, you just put a demo out for your upcoming title on Stadia. I think, like a great part of it, and I know talking from you as well, is that like the Stadia community really did help. So reaching out, letting your voice be heard, and keeping that positive and consistent message really does work.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the honest truth. If the Stadia community had not been as involved as they were, Google and I would have never really met and formed this relationship. And there would not have been a Shades of Horror demo on Stadia right now. I mean, this one came down entirely to the fan community. The fan community made interest. They showed engagement. They helped link me up with people who I didn't really know in the Google hierarchy to help kind of fast track the process. they helped introduce me to great folks like Karine and Kirk,
Yeah.
and a lot of the other wonderful folks on the Stadia team. Everybody I've met and worked with on the Stadia side has been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, across all their marketing, engineering, their licensing and subscription teams and stuff like that. They're really just a top-notch group of people. They are problem solvers. This whole process of getting a demo out this quickly was just solving one huge challenge after another in an extremely short amount of time. And there was not a single person on the Google side who came to me and said, you know what, we're not doing this. This doesn't seem worth our time. They were eager and excited to work on this project and to do new things with this. And they were eager to make it work. And that, and I was saying from the beginning of talking to them that, it's important to me that when we, debut on Stadia, that we debut day and date with other platforms, that this isn't like some afterthought where Stadia is just a second-class citizen and we'll get to you guys when we do it. And I did not want to show up without something playable for folks day one when the announcement went out. And to their credit, they took all that feedback really seriously and they were on board with it and they were enthusiastic about it. And that's the only reason why this happened is everybody, the fans, them, and me, you guys got me excited about this. Everybody was enthusiastic and kept solving problems to make it happen. And it happened. And it's honestly, I played the Stadia version on stream for an hour last night. It was a great experience. Yeah, it's a wonderful platform. I definitely encourage folks to go watch our stream from last night.
Absolutely. Gizmo Duck here has an interesting question, and I'm going to rephrase it for it to make more sense. So he's asking, what will it cost for Contagious Memory? Instead of Evan, I'm going to ask you, what's the cost on other platforms, so we can have like a general idea of how much we're going to pay around for Contagious Memories.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's $29.99 on every platform. I'm not going to charge more on Stadia. I'm not going to charge less on Stadia. That is the price of the game.
Okay.
So we're not playing any stunts there or anything. And I fully imagine that when it launches in the form that it launches in, there will be a option there for you to pay $29.99 for the title. Given that the title, of course, will be when it comes out, it could be potentially up to a year after, or somewhere. It could be a year or later or earlier, because we're not giving a time frame for this. After it comes out, yes, it will be an older title on other platforms. Will there be a discount? Will there be something else? I'm going to certainly look into all those options. There's nothing to confirm or deny right now, but that is the MSRP for the title is $29.99 US. So
that's US, perfect, and it's $39.99 Canadian for the Canadians out there, just to let you know.
It's whatever the store is converted over to. Usually, folks like me don't explicitly set those prices.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a community member on Stadia who was curious about something. He had a very interesting question. So you mentioned somewhere that you can't set up a pre-order for your game on Stadia. Are you able to elaborate a little bit on why that's the case?
Yeah, and I mean this really cuts the crux of kind of why I'm here, I guess, is because as of right now, Outbreak Shades of Horror, the full release is not coming to Stadia. It's not coming to any platforms. It's an unfunded game that has a technical demo to help show you the graphics fidelity, the tone, the story, and a very small vertical slice of the first-person shooter gameplay for that specific type of mode in it. What Shades of Horror is not is a title that is fully, announced and committed to coming to any platform right now because it's not funded. And that's why we're doing a Kickstarter for it, because we want to build the most ambitious next-generation exclusive title that we possibly can. And we want to leave it up to fans to decide how far we're going to go on that mission with this. We have an amazing base game laid out in the Kickstarter that we're going to be talking more about in the next couple of weeks prior to the launch of the Kickstarter on August 31st. But, at a base level, you can expect that it's going to be a very earnest stab at creating a spiritual successor for games like Resident Evil Outbreak, where you're in a city in the opening hours of an undead apocalypse. The city isn't burned to the ground yet, and the demo tries to show this too. There's still helicopters flying around. You got there just a couple minutes late after everybody kind of died in the city center there, and everything went to hell. But you're going to be finding survivors. You're going to be working through realistic environments that you'd have to navigate in a city that's burning to the ground, and there's zombies kind of coming out of corpses and things like that. and you're going to take control of one of a large cast of kind of like everyday survivors with different skills and abilities, with diverse looks. We're going to try to be very diverse and representative in terms of who those folks are, and really give them unique gameplay that makes it exciting to try and survive through this. And you're going to have all the classic survival horror gameplay, but with a very modern control scheme and a very modern coat of paint with next generation graphics on it. You're going to be finding lore notes. You're going to be solving puzzles. You're going to be doing resource management, fighting off the undead. But the controls are going to feel very modern, and you can play it as a first-person shooter, as an over-the-shoulder third-person game, kind of like Resident Evil 5, and you'll be able to play it with fixed camera angles like an old Resident Evil game or something like that. And that's kind of, and with online multiplayer or 4-player split-screen offline, or you can play it alone if you want to. And that's what the base SKU is. And then if fans want to take that further, we have really exciting stretch goals lined up for the title, and all of these apply to Google the Google Stadia version, if they're possible to put on it. Things like we have stretch goals for expanding mechanics so that you can grapple and fight with zombies like you could in like the Resident Evil 2 remake. We have things for like ray tracing. We have things for cross-platform online play to make the PlayStation 5, Xbox, Stadia, and Steam versions have cross-play. We have awesome, crazy things like funding a standalone pinball game. People ask me all the time for Outbreak Pinball in an Outbreak visual novel. Those are going to be stretch goals. If that stuff gets funded, they'll come to Stadia. Absolutely. There's no reason not to. And things like having AI survivors on your team, with you, like having like AI survivor bots offline and online. Like these are the kind of stretch goals we're going for. What we're not doing is saying to people, oh, we're going to give you a hat if you spend an extra $10,000. We're going to give you meaningful things like cross-platform multiplayer and AI teammates, things that folks have been asking for nonstop in the series that we just simply can't afford with a limited budget and a limited team. And if you guys, put your money where your mouth is and fund this thing and overfund it and hit all these stretch goals, it's going to be a really standout, unique experience, unlike anything else that's on the market right now. And I really want to build that game without crunching. So, It's on everybody who's watching this. We're going to need the help from everybody in the Stadia community to contribute to the campaign. And it's going to be an amazing game if we can really, really get it there and well funded, I know I'm talking a little bit here. I'm going to go into one thing. There's one thing we got to talk about up front because I'm all about transparency, and this is kind of the everything sounds great right now. It sounds awesome. You got your demo, you got Contagious Memories. We're going to do a Kickstarter. Everything's Stadia focused. It's great. There's one little wrinkle with what we're going to do with a Kickstarter. I cannot pre-sell you a Google Stadia key for Outbreak Shades of Horror. And this is where we get back to that original question. I want to tell everybody that everybody on my side of the fence, everybody on Google Stadia's side, for months, we were working on trying to find a way to be able to pre-sell a Stadia key. It is not down to a lack of not wanting to do it. It is just simply something that, due to the realities of how businesses work together and the realities of life, there is simply not an avenue to pre-sell you a Google Stadia key. But I'm not here to tell you to go buy it on PlayStation 5 to get your game on Stadia. So instead, what we're going to do is on the Kickstarter, we're going to have at least one, if not more, Google Stadia specific tiers for you folks that are going to be affordably priced. And here's how I'm thinking about this. I'm going to give you some awesome digital and physical goodies in these things. Digital goodies is going to be, we're going to do some custom Stadia themed goodies on the digital side. You're going to have physical stuff like being able to get a CD soundtrack for the game, awesome posters, awesome T-shirts, things like that. Yeah. Really cool stuff that are only going to be available through the Kickstarter. And even though you're not going to buy the game there, think about this as filling in your collector's edition. You're buying the collector's edition portion of the game first. We fund the game, we make an amazing game, and then it launches on Google Stadia in the future. Maybe it launches on Stadia Pro. I'm going to try. I'd be silly not to try to have it on Stadia Pro day one. But either it does or it doesn't. There will come a day where it'll come up for sale on Google Stadia, and that'll be the first time you'll have to buy the game if you're on Stadia. Mm-hmm. And if you have this collector's edition merch, and then you go buy the full game, you've got the full experience there. You've got your full collector's edition of physical and digital goodies and your copy of the game, and you only bought it once. And that's the one thing we are very cognizant of in this Kickstarter, is not to have folks feel like they're getting double charged or that they're a second-class citizen. And believe me, if there was any way I could sell you guys pre-sell a Stadia key up front, I would be doing it day and date with that Kickstarter. So that's kind of the story.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool to hear. I think that people are very eager to learn more about the Kickstarter. So John, if you're okay with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and go to MM2K right now and ask the Kickstarter question right away, if that's okay.
Gotcha.
Yep,
Gotcha.
certainly.
Yeah.
So Evan, I always got to start off with my fandom. I think you're a superb guy, a wealth of knowledge. I think what you said earlier in regards to people listening, not only just you, but Google. I think this demo that we were all giddy to play and so excited, including myself, I think that's testament to that, because if people aren't listening in such quick turnaround and amount of time, this doesn't happen.
Oh, absolutely.
So, we just want to thank you so much for believing in our community, for seeing how we could be supportive to your efforts. Because again, it's like you said before, we can say it's about the art all we want, but you got to keep the lights on. So for you to believe in us, to feel that we were a valuable source to help with that, and then in turn, to go even further the way that you've been explaining. I just wanted to say first and foremost, before I ask you anything, thank you. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here. I'm really happy with how this all worked out. So I echo your comments, and I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. So now to the Kickstarter that everybody's interested in, because we definitely want to support this the best way that we can. So in regards to the Kickstarter that's for, again, Shades of Horror, can you tell us a little bit more about it in the realm of you already talked about the tiers that you're working out, or some of the ideas that you have on the tiers, but can you tell us when the Kickstarter is planned to launch?
Yes, this is a great question and an awesome segue. Well done on that, I got to say. So the Kickstarter page is live right now. We need everybody who's listening to this and everybody that they can possibly get to talk to on a computer or anything that anyone they can influence to go to our Kickstarter page right now. I believe there's a link in the video description on the YouTube for this. It's getting posted in chat. There is a notify me on launch button on that page right now. We need everybody to slam that button. And the reason for that is you're going to get notified when the Kickstarter campaign goes live, which is super important, but it helps Kickstarter know that there's interest in this project. And this is the key to running a successful Kickstarter, is to get their algorithm to be in the mindset that this is something important, that they want to promote, that they want to help it go viral. So the first start is we got to get that notify number up. We already have 100 people on there. This page launched just over a day ago. So we're off to an awesome start over there. And I'm hoping by the end of this stream, we'll be at 125 or 150, something. Let's keep getting that number up as high as we can. And then on August 31st, the Kickstarter will go live. And the mission at that point is we've got to fully fund this game in 48 hours. The Kickstarter itself is going to run for 30 days. But the key is, if we can get this thing funded in 48 hours, just for the base funding tier, not all the tiers, just to get the first tier to get the game locked and funded, that's going to help us send this thing viral. Because projects that get funded in the first 48 hours tend to get a lot of exposure, tend to greatly exceed their funding goals. And that's how we make a truly amazing video game that doesn't have any compromises on it. So when this thing goes live, we need everybody on the Stadia side to go there. If you only want to support it, the Stadia tier, it's going to be there for you guys. If you want to do more and get it on other platforms or get additional merch like our vinyl that we're going to be selling of the soundtrack, things like that. even when you back that Stadia tier, you'll have the option to add on add-ons. You can add on the vinyl. You can add on more T-shirts. You can add on more soundtracks. You can add on a lot of extra stuff if you want to help us with it, with additional pledges and stuff like that. And if we get this thing funded in 48 hours, we could take this to the moon. And there's one other thing that I'm going to say too, is that, and this kind of goes back to what I was talking about before for the pre-order question, why can't you pre-order the game in the Stadia store right now? It's because the game isn't funded. The second that I can show people on the Kickstarter page that this game is fully funded, I can then go back to my partners and my platform holders and say, look, in 48 hours or 24 hours or hopefully 8 hours, this game's fully funded. This is happening now. regardless of what stretch goals get hit. And suddenly the game goes from something that's not officially committed to for all these platforms, like a light switch, to something that is committed. And then the amount of marketing support, the amount of options that I have to continue to promote this and to ask for our friends across the platform holders, across the fan base, across everybody to go the extra mile. Options unlocked for me on that point, and then we can really send this thing through the roof. And that's why it's really critical to get it in the first 48 hours, because I need to be able to go into meetings, point at the Kickstarter and say, this thing is funded. This is coming to your platform. Now, what are we going to do to really send this thing to the moon? And it unlocks so many more options for me in discussions like that.
Awesome.
So it's not something we have to wait till the end of the Kickstarter to say it's funded. The minute it goes above the base funding goal, this project's funded, and it gives me just a tremendous amount of leverage to work with.
Amazing.
Yeah. We can do it, community. I mean, we've done it before. You know what I mean? We've done it before with other titles. One in particular comes to Project Z. So we've come together. I think we can get it. We can make it happen this time around. Definitely.
Yeah. My honest feeling is, after working with the Stadia crowd, I think the Stadia crowd, if I was only launching this or only proposing this for Stadia on Kickstarter, I think the Stadia crowd could easily fund this on their own based on the amount of interest.
Nice.
It's like these things are scary. Look, the bottom line is I put a lot on the line for this. We self-funded everything for that reveal yesterday with the Shades of Horror demo and everything. That Shades of Horror demo cost me more to fund than the full release of Outbreak Contagious Memories that released on all platforms, just for a demo. I'm not going to mince words here. I paid upfront out of that. I put myself in debt to get that done, because it was important to me that when I showed up here to talk to you guys, I wasn't coming on here and saying, hey, wouldn't it be really great if we did this amazing thing? And it's all just words. I wanted you to be able to play something and see it and mess around with it and get a feel for what we're trying to do, so that when you go to the Kickstarter page, you have some confidence that, we've shipped 7 games multi-platform. Well, we've shipped a game now on Stadia with this demo, because, I mean, it really is a game at the end of the day with the amount of content in there. So you can be confident that we're going to be bringing more to Stadia, and you can be confident that regardless of how that Kickstarter goes, we're bringing Contagious Memories over to Stadia.
Nice.
Good. We're not gonna vanish the second this thing is funded. And if Contagious Memories goes great, we'll bring more Outbreak. I'm sure Stadia would be open to hearing proposals for that, as long as we show them that things are selling and that there's interest. So I mean, like, that's the other thing too, is like give me the ability to go back to Stadia with a Kickstarter that's 1,000% funded and say, let's bring more Outbreak games over here. It's such just a strong data point to show the interest, to really help conversations like that just go to light speed. It
helps with the sales pitch, basically. Yeah.
And so, Evan, I was going to ask you, while we're on, talking about like Shades of Horror, and I know you mentioned too, like you had to move heaven and earth to get this demo on Stadia. We now found out that you self-funded this whole venture here, so put yourself into debt. How long, like approximately, how long did it take you to get the Shades of Horror demo on Stadia?
Okay, I don't want to answer that question because and the reason why I don't want to answer that is because it's going to get used on other developers, and not by you guys, but by the community. Right. Because what happened here was an extremely unfair representation of the porting process of a game. This porting process was done to reach a strategic milestone that both me and Google agreed on was important. This required me to crunch. I worked 16 to 20 hours, 7 days a week in the last month to make this happen. And I've been doing similar hours to that for the last 6 months to get ready for this event. And what I'm not going to do here is tell you guys how long it took me to port this, because it's unfair to every other developer out there who I don't want to literally put their health in jeopardy to try and be able to do what the Dead Drop Studios guy did, because what I did was not a healthy move, but it was a necessary move, because this was really important to me, and I need your support for the series. I need Stadia support for the series. I need the Stadia fans to support us in this Kickstarter, and this Kickstarter is a do or die moment for my business. If this fails, probably we're standing at a good chance of probably going out of business. About that. So this was out of pure necessity. This was because I wanted to do it, And this only happened. And it doesn't matter how much I wanted to do this without a lot of folks on the Google Stadia side and a lot of other folks in other areas pulling extra hours to make it happen. It would not have happened. And I will not endorse what went into making this happen because it was unhealthy for everyone involved, despite how awesome it is to be able to sit here and say that it's out. And that's also why I won't give you guys a date on Contagious Memories, because I'm not going to put the people who I've met at Google through another experience like this if we can avoid it. You know, and we know we're going to be busy with a Kickstarter for the next 2 months. We know we're going to have another month after that with a lot of work happening in the aftermath of the Kickstarter, either, you know, any way it ends up going. And what I'm not going to do is beg or barter or steal folks' time to get Contagious Memories out as quickly as humanly possible, because it's not in the best interest of anybody. It's not in the best interest of the product. It's not in the best interest of the humans working on it. And ultimately, the fans will be the ones who suffer at the end of the day. So that's honestly why I'm not going to answer that question, even though that there is a literal answer to that question.
Yeah,
because nothing good will come of it from anyone else.
Yeah. No, I think that's very plausible, and that's why I said it's important to have someone like yourself here. I mean, you could very easily just tell us everything is great, everything is fine, and you know what I mean, and give us a false notion of stuff. It's like, no, there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that's put into this. We're still moving past the goal line. We got to keep it churning. So these are just the realities of development, people, and you don't hear this all the time, but it needs to be heard. So,
yeah, and I want to say something too. This whole situation, the way that it worked out, this was the perfect storm. There is probably no way to replicate what happened in the last 4 months for another dev, and that's the other reason why I don't really want to play up the process details too much. Some of it obviously is NDA, but some of it is also that I do not want another indie developer to come here and say, well, look, the Dead Drop Studios guy did it in 4 months. I can do that. Because there were a lot of things that were completely out of my control that happened to go very, very right during this process.
Right.
And if anything along that journey would have been a no instead of a yes, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. So, there was a tremendous amount of effort put into this. And I want to really be clear, the Google Stadia team put a tremendous amount of effort into this and really worked their asses off for this. But I also cannot discount just I was the right developer with the right product in the right place at the right time. I met you guys in your community. You were the right community at the right time. This was just a perfect storm of everything working out perfectly. And even though it was a little painful behind the scenes, I don't want folks to expect that this is repeatable, that this is a model for others to find success. Because it could easily destroy them financially. It could easily destroy their health. There was no guarantee I wasn't going to have a heart attack working 20 hours a day for the last couple of months. I'm not going to tell somebody else to do this. I'd be a lunatic to tell somebody else to do this. And that's why we need to properly fund the Kickstarter, because maybe 1 month I will have that heart attack, trying to get something like this done. And then it's over.
Yeah. So Evan, just again, not putting a timeline, but maybe a guesstimate. Let's say the Kickstarter gets funded. Do you have a rough estimate as to the development time for Shades of Horror?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's designed to be a 3-year project. And it's not designed to be I go away for 3 years, come back in 3 years and say, hey, here's your video game. Part of what we're building into the Kickstarter is alpha and beta access. The idea is that we really want the fan community to be a part of the development. So when you're a backer, and this goes for Google Stadia folks too, I'll find a way to ship betas on Google Stadia. We'll get that done. I mean, I'm not going to ask Google Stadia. I'm not going to have a Google Stadia tier ask people to back it and not then deliver a alpha or beta on their platform for those backers. But it's something where we're gonna have folks checking in on during development, doing some play testing. At higher tiers, you may be playing an earlier, more prototypey project. But the idea is to keep getting fan feedback, to see what's working, to see what's not working, and to keep iterating on that stuff. But the project is envisioned to be a 3-year project, but beta and alpha testing happening throughout it. As we work on things and want to get feedback. And I really want to be able to do like multi-platform alphas and stuff, things like that. And Stadia is a great platform to do something like that because it's click to play. You can just click on a link, and I can have somebody playing an alpha. That'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole channels process.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Great stuff. Great. I mean, again, it's good for gamers to hear this type of stuff at this level because I think it sets expectations realistically. So thank you for all that information.
Yeah, no problem.
Now, we've heard that you're doing a series of streams, and Me the Bonehead, I got a funny story to share real quick. So Me the Bonehead, Evan, I got the times screwed up. I thought you were doing the reveal at 10 p.m. Eastern, and you were doing a stream earlier in the day, and it was vice versa, right? So I missed both, but I heard that your stream last night was one to not miss. You know what I mean? So I hear that there's a series of streams that will lead to the official opening of the Kickstarter. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I actually meant to have the graphics done for this so we could talk about it a bit more. So what's going to happen is we're going to be doing Tuesday and Thursday streams up to the start of the Kickstarter. So we will have a stream tomorrow. I'm going to get the graphics done later tonight and get them posted up on social media. So we will have another stream tomorrow I think we're going to be moving the streams back to 7 p.m. Eastern time because the feedback that I got was that stream went a little too late for a lot of people. So we're going to try to aim for like 2-hour streams Tuesdays and Thursdays up to the start of the Kickstarter, and I'll post all this on social media. We'll share it out there. We have some nice images. What we're going to do is we're going to call it our Summer of Survival Horror streams. And what we're going to do every stream is we're going to play a classic survival horror game and talk about how it influences where we want to go with Shades of Horror, and be able to take a look back onto the 90s and early 2000s era of survival horror. So tomorrow. Most likely, we're going to be playing like Resident Evil 3 on the PlayStation 1 as an example, because I love that game. And you can kind of expect that we're going to be touching on aspects leading up to the campaign, getting feedback from folks, answering questions, and we're going to try to do a giveaway every stream. We gave away a Stadia Premier Edition yesterday. I've got some more to give away. We're going to be giving away signed copies of the Outbreak Collection on PS4. I've never signed a copy of that game, so those are going to be pretty rare to just give away. And I actually have a whole table next to me that I can't really get the camera over to because the room's a mess. But we have basically a prize table with a lot of fun stuff. We've got games, we've got controllers for like the N64, for Dreamcast, for Sega Saturn. There's a whole lot of stuff on that table, like a whole lot of stuff. We have Outbreak merch. We've got mugs, T-shirts, notebooks, all this, just stickers, all this really cool Outbreak merch to give away on some of those streams. So we're going to try to come to each of those days with something meaty. And then the day the campaign kicks off, we're going to have a major streamer that is going to help us kick off the campaign and really drive interest. And then starting from after that day, I'm going to be doing daily streams for the next 29 days of the campaign. And we're going to have giveaways and a lot of stuff going on. And every day we're just going to keep playing more and more survival horror and trying to get the stream as funded as possible. So you're going to see a lot of me. There's going to be a lot.
Evan, I just want to tell you that just hearing you talk and the passion that you have, and it just sends chills down my spine. And I wanted to let you know just how much respect that I have for you as a person, as a developer, because you go all in. And for anybody that ever says or makes a comment, quote unquote, lazy developer, or people aren't listening, it just gets under my skin. So I can't imagine, you as being a developer and living and going through this, how it must make you feel. So I just want to let you know, just how much I respect and appreciate all the hard work. And I'm sure everybody here feels that exact same way. We've seen it in the chat. I know talking with Ninja and MM2K off, camera and things like that is just like, it's so amazing and so inspiring. And I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's wonderful to hear that. I got to be honest with you. And And I mean, the stuff like that really makes all this worth doing. It's really great to see such a positive response to the demo yesterday. I mean, from what I've seen, it's been universally positive.
Yep.
The experienced Stadia folks, outside of wanting to play it for more than 60 minutes, was very positive. We made a conscious decision. There was a lot of discussion with me and the Stadia folks on, did we want to aim for a really high frame rate demo, or do we want to go just absolutely bananas with the graphics in it? And originally, when we had the game running on Stadia, it was actually running at 60 frames per second with lower graphics qualities. And everybody who I spoke to over there was like, you know what? Let's just cap the demo at 30 frames per second on Stadia and just go absolutely nuts with the graphics. And that's why the Stadia demo actually looks the best out of any platform you can play it on by default. And I believe I even have some special little graphics stuff turned on only for the Stadia version too. So it probably is in some ways one of the best looking platforms you can play the game on, and it runs great at 30 frames per second. We played it for an hour last night. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
Amazing.
A game like this where you're like searching and swiveling and you hear the in the background, you don't want to move too fast. You're just inching away. You don't want to walk into a zombie's mouth. I think 30 frames per second is okay in this instance. And I did notice when I booted it up, like the textures, and I think someone had pointed out that there was the ultra, was it a setting for ultra something?
Yeah, for the shadows,
ultra shadow. Yeah, I mean,
it's actually the whole graphics quality. Shadows was a terrible thing to name it. It does more than shadows. It influences a lot of different graphics across the game. But yeah, it's maxed by default on Stadia.
Yeah, I was I was like, whoa, hold on, did they put me in the wrong demo? But it was amazing to see.
MM2K, but remember, right? Like, people keep saying, Stadia, it's last generation and things like that.
Yeah,
Here we are with a game Evan's creating. It's current generation, which is PlayStation 5, Series X, and Stadia, right?
Yes.
So a lot of people think that, Stadia isn't capable. Oh, it's right around PS4 level or maybe PS4 Pro. Well, here we are. Evan created this amazing teaser here, demo for us, and it just looks phenomenal. It just blew my socks off when I was playing it. I was like, holy macro, it looks great.
Yeah, and thank you for that. And that means a lot to me. And what I will say too is that, if I had unlimited amounts of time, we would have gotten this demo up to 60 frames per second with those graphics. And for the full release, we're targeting 60 frames per second because it's going to be it will be an action adventure game where you will actually fight off zombies and there's going to be combat and everything. So the full release is going to be 60 frames per second. It's kind of what you said. We felt like with the gameplay that the demo has, it actually is pretty okay as a 30 frames per second experience. And it kind of is more fun to just go kind of crazy with the graphics,
I've seen the community asking, so if the full release was going to come 60 frames per second. So it's very good information, and I'll be able to, tell them that. So thank you for
absolutely. That. Absolutely. I'm happy to confirm that right now. We're always, in all my games going forward, there will be a 60 frames per second option in anything I make. It was just, this was something special. You know?
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Wow.
I got one last question for you, Evan, and then I'm going to turn it over to John. What can we do? Because again, this is all amazing stuff. Just to see where we started or where you started with this, what the community did, and where we're at now. And then again, you talked about the blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifice that you put into this. And again, we know there are small pockets here and there that'll say, well, why does he need this? Why does he need to keep his lights on? But they can congregate in their own little fantasy islands, wherever. But what can we do? The people that are living in reality, what can we do at the moment to support your games coming to Stadia and what you sacrificed so far, if that's what we want to do? What can we do to support that as much as we can?
It's really simple. I mean, there's two things I need people to do right now, today, en masse, is to play the demo on Stadia and to play it as much as you'd like. And when that patch comes out, it's going to be very soon, to play in a limited amount, to play it as much as you'd like to play it. The engagement numbers on the demo are very positive from what I've heard. So let's just keep those strong and help it be a standout experience. And to get you, the you in terms of whoever's listening to this, the you and anybody you can find to go to that Kickstarter page today, right now. There's a notify me on launch button on the page. I need you to hit that button, and I need you to get as many human beings to hit that button as possible, to get that number as high as possible. That's going to help us with the Kickstarter algorithm. It's going to help the campaign really keep building up steam as we go through. And then when August 31st, the campaign's going live at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard or Pacific Digital Time in the U.S. We need everybody to go there right then and there and back whatever you feel comfortable backing. And if you can push it further than that, we're going to put the money to good use. And we need to get the game funded within 48 hours of when we launch that. So we got 48 hours from 10 a.m. on Pacific time on the 31st to get this thing funded, and ideally to get it overfunded in that time period, because that's going to really send it to the moon on that. So that's all I need people to do right now. And obviously retweet us, follow us on social media, follow us on Twitch for our streams. Come by our streams, obviously. But if you do only two things, I just need you to go to that page and hit that notify button, and I need you to play the demo. And if you want to do some more, follow me everywhere that we've got socials and on Twitch, and come by our streams.
Awesome. So Evan, and like to be clear again, just to clear up if anybody had any confusion here, the Kickstarter is to bring Outbreak Shades of Horror to Stadia and other platforms only. This isn't bringing Contagious Memories is not dependent on the Kickstarter in any shape or form. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, great. Second, clicking on that notify button, that does not obligate anybody to help fund the Kickstarter. This will just set off a notification. This helps bring awareness to the Kickstarter, and then it gets that algorithm kicking in and things like that. So clicking on that notify now, it isn't going to obligate anybody to do anything.
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay.
It is. Think of it that you're joining a mailing list. When you click that button, it is going to enter you into a mailing list where we're going to be able to let you know when the Kickstarter starts and be able to send you emails about the project. And not like getting spammed with emails. I believe that they are going to be fairly directed at times when they happen. So you're not going to get spammed from it. Nothing terrible is going to happen. It does not obligate you to actually back the Kickstarter. But it helps us influence the algorithm, and it helps the project become more and more legitimate for casual folks who come by and see, well, hey, you know what? There's 2,000 people following this. I should probably keep an eye on this versus seeing there's one person following it. And honestly, ideally, if folks want to have a metric to track, ideally when the campaign starts, we should have above 1,500 followers on the page. And we're probably in pretty good shape to fund the campaign if we're at about 1,500 on there. And if we can just keep getting that higher and higher and higher, that's what I need everybody to do. Go post a link on Facebook, post it, talk to any of your friends in your gaming communities on Discord. Just get folks to go to the page and nail that notify button. We need everybody there, and we need them to do it as soon as possible because the algorithm definitely is tracking time.
Definitely. Great.
Yeah.
And the links for Evan, Dead Drops, and Dead Drop Studios is in the description of this video here. That includes the Twitter, Twitch, all the good stuff so that you can be in touch with Dead Drop Studios here. And, like Evan said, just, click that notify me now button, and that really helps him out. And like Evan had mentioned here, if we get that algorithm or that number to a higher degree that the algorithm kicks in, then that casual Joe that knows nothing about Outbreak might happen to see this, and they might get some interest in it, and who knows, might back it here. So it all helps out in the long run. You can see what Evan has been through, the sacrifices he's made over these past couple of months for us here in the Stadia community. So I think as a personal ask from myself, clicking on that notify, just a simple click there would really be wonderful, and put a smile on Evan's face, because he's got a family as well, working
Mhm.
these 16 to 20 plus hours
Oh, geez.
every
Yeah.
day over the last couple of months. He's sacrificed things with that. So again, Evan, a big shout out to you, much respect, and also for your family, for because what they have to, I'm not going to say put up with, but what they have to,
I
the
think they might.
Have
sacrifices.
to allow.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, the sacrifices that they have to go through
Yeah.
as well to help make this happen, because it's with behind one person, there's always a series of more that are help supporting them. So again,
Absolutely. It's
yeah,
the
so a
truth.
big, yeah, big shout out to you and your family as well, and anyone else that has provided you that support. Again, we just want to let you know that we've noticed your sacrifices. We appreciate you
Yes,
and
indeed.
everything that you and your family and whoever else has done. And taking your time here today to talk with us is phenomenal. I know that you're a little short on time here now,
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna have to bounce pretty soon, but I
yeah,
appreciate all that, and that does mean that means quite a
yeah,
lot to me, because it's
yeah,
been, and honestly, it's been just so wonderful to see the absolute positive response to the demo, to the title, to the
hmm,
Kickstarter announcement.
yep,
It's really kind of makes it all worthwhile too, to see the community really come out and just say how awesome that is.
yep.
That means a lot to me, and I really hope everybody can support the Kickstarter. I hope everybody can tell their friends to please support it. And I'm really excited for the game that we're going to be able to make once we get this thing funded.
Yep, definitely. And I know that everybody here on the panel and those that are watching are going to do everything humanly possible that they can help spread the word. And a great, if people can help back the Stadia version, or even multiple versions at all, it never hurts. That will be very welcome, and really looking forward August 31st. I think you know what, Evan. Last time you were on the show here, we said we're positive that you'll be back in a few months, telling us that you've got the deal and you're bringing Outbreak to Stadia. You know what, Evan? I think come the end of September, October 1st, we'll be back here, or maybe the first week in October, we'll be back here and talking about the incredible feat that the community did to come together to help fund you and this amazing game. And just it's just amazing. It's so awesome.
Cool, thank you, and I'm happy to come back earlier than that if you want to have me on around the launch of the
Sure.
campaign. I'm always happy to come on,
Oh,
and
yeah,
we can talk some more. So you just let me know.
definitely. Yeah, that is great. That's a perfect idea. And yeah, so we're really looking forward to that. So I think here, I think we're going to respect your time here. You've already given us well over an hour. You have family, so I think again, thank you for taking your time out, coming to talk with us. Congratulations on getting signing with Stadia and being able to bring Contagious Memories and also Shades of Horror here. Fingers crossed. Everybody, go out there, click on that, play the teaser demo. Right now, you currently got 60 minutes, but they're going to lift that limitation here shortly. No ETA, but soon.
Soon.
And yeah,
My understanding is it is very, very soon. So
yeah.
I don't want to say by the end of today or something. All I can tell you guys is that they're saying that it's probably going to be soon, and I know that they know the root cause of the problem. So my gut says we're at the final stretch here somewhere, but
Yep.
you never know. Hey, it's this is part of shipping games, and sometimes things break, especially when you do it in new ways. So
Yeah, exactly.
But I will post on social media and everywhere I possibly can once we know it is conclusively fixed, so folks are aware.
Perfect. All right. And Ninja, I'm going to go ahead and share your screen again one more time for the Kickstarter. If you could hit refresh for us, and let's see,
definitely.
What are we up to?
We are at, I think, let's see if we're
108. Nice.
108.
$108. So,
It keeps going, man.
Yep.
yeah, every
That's great
little
stuff.
bit helps. Don't think, oh, I'm just one person, it won't make a difference, because for every one person that says that, there's 1,000 more. So please hit that follow button, the notification button, and we'll do great things. And looking forward to having Evan you back on here in the next month or so as the Kickstarter kicks off here, so to speak.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
and I just to the one person thing, I do want to say we're only here because of that one person on Twitter who started this whole thing back in April. So
Cody
one
Maloney.
person can make a pretty Cody Maloney. Yeah, that's pretty good evidence that one person can make a big difference. So
yeah, and we hear that time and time again, you know, from all the developers and now including yourself. So again, thank you so much. We'll go ahead and close out the show, and we will see everyone again real soon. Thank you again, everybody.
Thanks so much.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye.